Good afternoon, this is Dan Howell, PTI Securities and Futures. Coming to you from the daily wrap-up for Tuesday, September 20th. Overnight range, once again, a big S&P range, 25 points. Initially sold off overnight because S&P cut Italy. This was kind of unexpected because there was a rumor 2 weeks ago that Moody's was going to cut it, and we actually had a fairly down day. Today, S&P actually did do it, even though they weren't previously rumored to do it, and yet the S&Ps rallied overnight and they came right back up. So it appears that what possibly might be coming out of the Fed, even though it doesn't appear to be a substantial program, seems to be trumping current Greek worries and Italian worries. So that actually left the Asian markets mixed and European markets up, even though Italy was downgraded during their market session. Our data today, housing was a little bit worse than expected, so that wasn't something. The permits were a little bit better, however. The IMF also, during the European session, downgraded the world economic growth to 1.5. That was kind of significant. We were expecting a decrease, but on the other hand, 1.5 does put it below where a lot of, for the U.S. anyway, that puts us below where a lot of brokerage firms are. So that was a little bit of a disappointment as to how far down they went. Earnings, the only earnings that came out is Oracle's earnings just came out a second ago, so it's not really priced into the market yet, but Oracle was slightly better both in the earnings and in the revenue figure. Started selling off about 2 o'clock Chicago time, so the S&P, which was up, matter of fact, it was entirely a perfect risk-on day where stocks were up, bonds were down, all commodities were up, until about an hour and a half before the close. We started selling off. There was conflicting rumors, none of which were substantiated at the conference call tomorrow, about whether or not there was going to be the actual European payment to allow Greece to meet their next debt payment was going to be postponed for a couple of weeks. So that was not confirmed, but it appears that that might have had an impact on the direction of the market. But once it started selling off, we pretty much went down to an unchanged day. So it looked like it was a pretty boring day by the closes. The SPX closed at 1202, down 2. Dow closed at 11,408, up 7. The NASDAQ closed at 2590, down 22. The 10-year note eked out a small yield gain, so closed at 1.94. Once again, substantially below the psychological 2% yield on the 10-year. The dollar was basically unchanged at 77.09. Gold had a very good day that did not sell off when the rest of the market started selling off. So that part of the risk trade was still on, closed at 1807, up 28. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. We still are, despite the rumors, expecting some notification out of the conference call in Europe as to whether or not Greece's going to get advanced by the ECB. We also have the Fed rate decision tomorrow, so hopefully it's going to be a decision on something other than rates also. Jobs number on Thursday, as well as the leading indicators also on Thursday. This has been Dan Howell, PTI Securities and Futures.